Hello and welcome. It is time to make some repair videos again, and inspired by C64 repair marathons of Jan Betta and Adrian, I decided to make something similar with some PC mainboards. Coincidentally, I got multiple defective mainboards from Ulf from German DOS Reloaded EE community, and his mainboards seem to deliver sufficient issues for multiple repair videos. So let's see what I got. First one is a 486 VLB mainboard, model MB4033. This mainboard suffers of battery damage which was partially cleaned, but I still can see a lot of oxidation. The CPU fan has some strange contacts, but maybe there were some special clamps in the case where this one was used. Wolf told me that the keyboard doesn't work with this mainboard anymore. He replaced the keyboard connector, but it didn't help. Well, on the backside I still can see a lot of oxidized traces, so I guess the culprit will be some broken trace. Anyway, this mainboard has to be cleaned from the battery damage first, and then I can look for the keyboard issues. Okay, second mainboard is a 486 again. It has a voltage regulator and can accept 3-volt CPUs with 100 MHz and probably higher. On this mainboard the battery didn't leak, but I see a couple of physical damages, like a ripped off battery and missing transistors. At the first glance, the interesting note about this mainboard is that it seems not to have a usual big 40-pin 8042 keyboard connector, like usually used on the most mainboards. Instead, on this mainboard there is this small IC, LT38C41L, which seems to be a replacement for the usual 8042. It is the first time I see such a solution. Very interesting. And the next mainboard. Here is the description of known issues with this stack of mainboards, and Ulf also sent a couple of missing cache ICs. Well, this seems to be an ISA 486 mainboard. I don't know what is wrong about it now. It seems to be in good visual shape. Battery damage is not possible here, since it has a Dallas RTC module. However, it is not socketed, and it is just a question of time when the battery inside of the module gets empty. So at least I will desolder the module and install a socket for it to make it replaceable in the future. The next mainboard is a 386 one. This mainboard has a 40 MHz 386DX by AMD. It is the fastest official 386 CPU as far as I know, but this mainboard seems to miss any level 2 cache ICs. This is a real bummer on regards of overall performance. But all in all, the mainboard is compact and extensible with all the sockets for the Cyrix 486 DLCs and the FPUs. However, unfortunately in this shape, this mainboard is complete garbage. It suffered of bad battery leak damage and many traces are heavily corroded. Also on the back side there is a lot of damage to see, and someone worked obviously already here. There is this jumper wire. Okay, and last but not least, this 486 mainboard must be completely dead as far as I know from Ulf. It is actually a very late 486 mainboard with PCI slots and all the integrated I/O, IDE controller, etc. It has a voltage regulator and should support 3-volt CPUs as well. However, at least in this state, this mainboard will not work whatsoever, since there is obviously missing keyboard controller IC and the RTC module was stolen as well. Yeah, and these are the main boards for my repair marathon. Well, it's going to be a lot of work, so I will split this challenge in multiple parts, where I will take a closer look and try to repair each board in separated videos to keep it not too long. And in which order I'm going to work on the main boards, it is easy to tell. You see, the longer the battery electrolyte remains on the main board, the worse will be the damage. That's why you should always neutralize it as soon as possible. That's why the order of my attempts will be simple. I will start with the 386 mainboard with the worst corrosion damage and then continue with the less corroded 486 and will handle the non-corroded mainboards in the end. So please stay tuned and join me in the next video to see how this whole story ends up. And so far, thank you and goodbye.